Like a bird in search of a nest, former Governor of Kano State, Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, had gallivanted from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress and back. But it appears he had found a home in the new Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, which is using to plot big political upsets, not just in Kano State, but the entire Northwest. A testimony to this is that 16 out of the 40-member Kano State House of Assembly have defected to NNPP. In addition, former presidential aide Kawu Sumaila, former chairman of House of Representatives Committee on Appropriation, Abdulmumin Jibrin, two current members of the lower legislative chamber and other defecting APC members have also joined the NNPP. With another former governor of the state, Senator Ibrahim Shekarau, also teaming up with Kwankwaso, analysts say the NNPP might claim Kano and Jigawa States in the 2023 elections. BKO, Kano politics is actually one of your fortes. Help us understand the gale of defections in the last few days. What's happening?
Yes, I think this is a problem that has been there for some time. It just happens to get worse in this political season. Remember the primaries, the ward primaries of the APC in Kano was very acrimonious. The governor had his faction, Shekarau had his faction, and Senator Shekarau's group actually secured 3 different court judgments, in their desire to show that they are the dominant and the mainstream faction of APC in Kano State. The matter went on. The leadership of the party could not resolve this issue. Meetings were held. In the end, what the party decided was that in any ward, the highest ranked political office holder in that ward becomes the natural leader of the party in the ward. If it is a House of Assembly member that comes from that area that is the highest ranked, he becomes the natural leader of the party in the ward. The same principle applied at local government level. The highest ranking politician by way of elective position in whether it's party elective position or otherwise in the local government becomes the leader of the party in the local government. Then when they got to state, the main Malabuni leadership of the party at that time then said that the governor is the leader of the party in the state. That was affirmed, which means that Senator Shekarau had to now sit with the governor to have a meeting where they can share power. You and I know that once it gets to that point, politicians see contestation for power as a winner-takes-all affair. We knew at the time that decision was made that it would be easier for a camel to pass through the eye of the needle than to have these two individuals sit together and share power. Where two individuals who suspect one another are told to sit together and then share power. There's no way that they would be happy to do it. The position of the Shekarau group at that time was that since it had decisions of the court favoring it in respect of the primaries, that the party should have given it greater percentage of positions to share. But of course, a governor will not sit down and agree to a situation in which somebody who is not governor gets like 60% and he gets 40%. So despite the fact that Shekarau had an edge at that time because subsisting court orders favored him. In the end, the matter got to Supreme Court and the Shekarau group, famously known as the Group of Seven, lost the battle. When people fight themselves and they get as far as Supreme Court, it makes resolution even more difficult because the one who has won will now believe that it is now in a position of strength. Then having the one who has lost make concessions become even more difficult. But during this time, Senator Kwankwaso, whom nobody believed could ever work together with Shekarau, because they have been sworn enemies, sworn political enemies. Remember, for a long time, they didn't have anything to do with one another. If one entered the party, the other one will leave the party for him. It's just like what you had in Sokoto between Maga Takadawa Mako and Atahiru Bafarawa.
Yeah.
Both of them will not agree to be in the same party.
Right.
One will leave for the other.
Right.
So Kwankwaso continued to apply pressure and promised Shekarau a better deal in their new party. Kwankwaso wanted to exploit the discontent within the APC and even the PDP. So once he started making this move, the pressure was on Shekarau to eventually move to
NNPP.
Kwankwaso's party, especially given that his own supporters had been moving ahead of his own defection. 16 lawmakers, there were actually 17 House of Assembly members. One of them has gone back to the APC. The governor was worried about this exodus and then decided to surrender his own senatorial ambition to Senator Barau from Kano North. But it still has not stopped these defections because more and more people are moving. Right now, what Shekarau wants to, what Kwankwaso wants to do is to feed off the discontent in Katsina, in Kaduna, in Jigawa. And when you look at Jigawa, Jigawa is like Kano's brother. They usually vote along similar lines. So what he has done is to get the former chief of staff to then Governor Lamido in Jigawa to come to NNPP so that he can be given the governorship ticket. That is the same thing that he's trying to do in Katsina. He identifies people who are strong, who have been denied position. He will now offer them position. That's what he's doing in Kano now. So you have some powerful Kano politicians like Kawu Sumaila, the presidential aide, you know, joining him. You have the former speaker of Kano State House of Assembly, Kabiru Al-Hassan, who is very strong in the state. He is in the House of Reps now, representing Rano, Kibia, and Bunkure. He has also gone to join Kwankwaso, making Kano South more like a swing zone. Because with Al-Hassan and Kawu Sumaila, it means that Ado Alandogwa has a big job to do in that area. Now, with Shekarau and Kwankwaso coming together, Kano Municipal has become more like a place that the governor and his people have to struggle hard. Remember, during the last governorship election, Kwankwaso's candidate won in Kano Municipal, but they lost the election in the rural areas. But having Kwankwaso and Shekarau coming together to work together now in a state where the politics has always been like a tripod on a tripod, made up of Ganduje, Kwankwaso, and Shekarau, having a situation of 2 against 1 has made the situation very precarious for the APC.
Right.
And they know that if they do not work very hard, it will be difficult for the APC to retain the state. I know that it's still a long time between now and the 2023 election, but the battle line has been drawn. The NNPP is waxing strong, not just in Kano, but some of the states around Kano and
Jigawa.
The Kano State governor and his strategists now know that they have a big battle on their hands to ensure that the defection of Shekarau, the former governor, does not cause them to lose the state, because everyone knows that Kwankwaso is a tremendous grassroots politician. He remains very relevant, very strong.
Yeah. Right. Things are actually unfolding very, very fast in Kano State, and we know how critical Kano as a state is when it comes to elections in Nigeria. Whatever happens there can directly or indirectly affect what happens, anywhere in the north, and as a matter of fact, everywhere in the country.
Yes, don't forget that in those days, that was the stronghold of PRP, People's Redemption Party.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that was the notion Kwankwaso had in mind when he started this NNPP. And don't forget that.
No, according to NNPP, they said the party has been there
for
21 years.
I know. The party has been there. But Kwankwaso has a movement called Kwankwansia
movement. Yeah.
So the party saw the beauty of Kwankwansia movement and partnered. You get my point? And maybe at the time they just felt if this is done in Kano, from my findings, long before this upset, what I heard was that whoever will win the presidency of Nigeria, I heard people in Kwankwansia team, talking, boasting that whoever will win the presidency of Nigeria will be forced to come and negotiate with their team. That whichever party will aspires to win the presidency, don't forget the quantity of votes that normally
is a truck full of
normally get from that
votes
from that place. Then a lot of issues. Don't forget the re-election, blues. I'm talking about Governor Ganduje's second term. You knew how the election went. You remember
absolutely.
So Kwankwaso for now is not in the Senate, it's not in any office, but he's pulling a lot of strings.
He's a grassroots politician.
Here is a man who is like #1 enemy when it comes to Shekarau. But now the two are together. I keep saying whatever may have brought the two together, it shows very dangerous signals to the APC in that state.
Right.
And from my findings, I am told that many more people will still leave APC and join the new party. And you saw what the former governor said, Shekarau, what he said that he suffered under Ganduje. I was shocked. We didn't have the opportunity to cross-check from Governor Ganduje. He spoke about how they started, how they begged him to join them, and that since that time, how he's been totally ostracized, how he's been ignored. He detailed so many things. Whether most of these are true or not, we didn't have the opportunity of asking the governor But there is a lot.
Well, Doctor, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yes.
Is that the way they say it?
If you watch what happened the day Kwankwaso and Shekarau met, you saw there was a panic in the government. As soon as Kwankwaso left Shekarau's house, the governor's delegation arrived in order to be able to also speak with him, because they know that something is going to happen if it remains this way. Yeah. And I would like to back it up with figures, because that's what counts in politics.
Yeah, very quickly.
For the last presidential election, the APC got over 1.5 million votes from that state. If you break that down among these two parties, we know it is likely the NNPP will get more. That means out of the 15 million votes that APC will claim it as in its kitty, about 1.5 million is gone. Because that's what the APC had in the last election. So that is gone. When we go back to previous elections, when things were smooth, or when things seemed to be, when things appeared to have been better among these parties in 2015, and Ganduje sought re-election, he got 1.546434 million votes. The PDP that fielded its former candidates, that's the APC's former candidate, Saliu Sagiro, got 509,000 votes in that election. I'm talking of Sagiro now crossing over and joining forces with PDP. When it came to the 2019 election, and there was this news everywhere that the candidate of the PDP, that is Abba Kabiru Yusuf, is an in-law of Kwankwaso.
Yeah.
Things changed. Kwankwaso later came out and said, he's not directly my in-law because he didn't marry my daughter, but he married from my family. That did not change the equation for APC. Because what Ganduje got was 1,033,695 votes. And Yusuf got 1,024,700, a difference of about 9,000 only.
Okay, so
whereas the other one, it was over 1 million votes.
By way of extrapolation, what do we actually deduce from all of this?
What we deduce is that without a Kwankwaso in Kano and Shekarau back in any government, it is not likely to be able to win election. That's the deduction. That's because amazing. You can see a difference of 1 million votes from 2015 reducing to 9,000 for Ganduje to win. And it took a lot of what the opposition described as manipulation to get to that point.
Wow.
So the party must be careful. That is why Ganduje is trying everything to concede, but it appears it is coming a bit
too late.
Well, but it appears that the more the governor Ganduje tries to, settle the party's rift, the more the fault lines continues to, widen. But I wish we could, continue on this, but then the time is really fast spent, and we'll have to rush to the next topic. We just hope that President Muhammadu Buhari is able to wade in, if possible.
He has tried.
If anything can be salvaged at the end of the day.
Even at the national level, the parties they've tried.
Right.
But it seemed as if what Ganduje has as a problem is he makes a promise, the next minute he's going back on it.